The war was no longer a battle for victory, it had devolved into a desperate struggle for survival. In the sprawling chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives of the Coalition's once mighty species sat in defeated silence. Around them, the ornate grandeur of the chamber, with its obsidian walls and shimmering banners of unity, felt like a cruel mockery of their current plight. The holographic display at the center of the room projected grim figures, countless fleets annihilated, entire star systems consumed, and the relentless advance of the Groa swarm. High Chancellor Divac of the Aliens, a wiry figure with luminous blue-tinted skin, rose from his seat. His movements were slow, burdened by the weight of the news he had to deliver. His voice trembled as he addressed the council. "Our defenses are shattered. The Groa High fleets have breached the Omega Line. If they take Ceres Prime, the heart of our alliance will fall within days. We are out of time." The words hung in the air, heavy with despair. Representatives exchanged nervous glances, their expressions varying from hopeless resignation to simmering frustration. The Groa biomechanical monstrosities driven by an unfathomable hive mind had proven unstoppable. They devoured everything in their path, consuming resources, populations, and entire planets to fuel their endless war machine. What once were mighty fleets of Coalition warships now floated as debris in the void, silent tombs for billions. Ambassador Kravik of the Rinkai, his 8 limbs coiled tightly in frustration, broke the silence. His voice was a venomous hiss. This war was doomed the moment we underestimated their swarm. Our strategies have failed. Our armies are decimated. What more can we do? The tension in the room grew palpable, but before anyone could respond, a shadow moved at the edge of the chamber. All eyes turned as a human figure stepped forward, his boots echoing against the polished obsidian floor. War Commander Darius James, a man forged by the fires of countless battles, strode into the center of the chamber. Broad-shouldered and clad in a black tactical suit, he exuded an unyielding presence. His piercing gray eyes swept over the room, cutting through the haze of fear and doubt like a blade. "You've already lost," James began, his voice low and calm, yet carrying an edge that demanded attention. "If you continue to fight this war as you have been, it will only end one way: extinction." The room erupted in protest. Representatives shouted over one another, voices filled with anger and disbelief. Words like barbarism and recklessness echoed through the chamber. High Chancellor Divac raised a glowing hand to silence the cacophony. His eyes, luminous orbs of azure light, narrowed as he regarded the human commander. "James," Divac said, his voice a mix of irritation and curiosity, "humanity has provided little more than token support since the war began. Your species is known for its ferocity, yes, but this conflict demands strategy, not brute force. Why should we listen to you now?" James stepped closer to the holographic display. The faint blue light illuminated the sharp angles of his face, highlighting the unflinching determination in his eyes. With a flick of his hand, he manipulated the interface, bringing up a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red tendrils representing the Groa swarm spread like a malignant cancer, engulfing system after system. "Because you're losing," James said bluntly, his tone cutting through the room like a knife. "And if you keep clinging to your outdated tactics, you'll all be extinct within weeks." He zoomed in on Ceres Prime, the heart of their alliance. "This is your last chance. Ceres isn't just a planet, it's the linchpin. If it falls, the Groa will steamroll through your core worlds. You don't need another retreat. You need a counteroffensive." "And what exactly do you propose?" demanded Kravik, his mandibles clicking in barely concealed skepticism. James's expression hardened. "Let humanity lead." The room fell into stunned silence. For decades, humans had been regarded as unpredictable newcomers to the galactic stage, too volatile, too unrefined for positions of true power. Entrusting them with the Coalition's survival was unthinkable to many in the room. "You're asking us to surrender our command to a species known for its barbarity," scoffed Minister Phalis of the Ziren, her golden feathers bristling. James turned to her, his voice like steel. "I'm not asking. I'm offering a choice. Step aside and let us do what you can't, or watch your people be consumed by the swarm." High Chancellor Divac studied James, his glowing eyes betraying a flicker of hope and desperation. "And what guarantee do we have that your methods will work?" James's jaw tightened. "You don't," he admitted. "But I guarantee one thing: we won't go down quietly. Humans don't lose wars. We adapt, we endure, and we strike harder than anyone expects. Give me command and I'll give you a fighting chance." The chamber erupted again, this time with a mix of anger and hesitant agreement. The debate raged, but the clock was ticking, and the Groa were closing in. Finally, Divac raised his voice above the din. "Enough," he said, his tone resolute. "Desperate times call for desperate measures. Commander James, humanity will take the lead. But know this: if you fail, the blood of the galaxy will be on your hands." James nodded, his expression unreadable. "Understood." As the meeting adjourned, James strode out of the chamber, his mind already racing. The war was far from over, but for the first time in months, he felt the tide begin to shift. Humanity had been underestimated for too long, and that, James thought grimly, was about to change. Back aboard his command ship, the Resolute, James convened his officers, a diverse group of humans and alien allies. The room was illuminated by the glow of holographic displays, each showing vital intelligence on Groa fleet movements and allied deployments. "Our first move," James began, his voice steady, "is to fortify Sara's Prime. If the Groa take it, the coalition falls. We'll hold that line whatever it takes." Major Victor Brandt, James's second in command, stepped forward. A towering figure with a scarred face and a voice like rolling thunder, Brandt exuded raw strength. "The troops are ready, Commander," he said. "We've run the drills. They know what's at stake." "Good," James replied. "Because this fight isn't just about holding ground, it's about sending a message. The Groa think we're weak, scattered. We're going to show them just how wrong they are." The officers nodded, their resolve evident. As they dispersed to prepare for the operation, James remained behind, staring at the star map. He knew the cost of what he was asking. Victory would demand sacrifice, and many would not return. But the alternative, a galaxy consumed by the Groa's relentless hunger, was unthinkable. Over the next 48 hours, the Coalition's forces mobilized with an urgency they hadn't displayed in months. Under James's command, fleets were reorganized, supply lines streamlined, and defensive positions reinforced. For the first time, the Coalition operated as a unified force, their disparate strategies replaced by a singular, ruthless vision. The battle for Sara's Prime began at dawn. The Groa swarm descended like a tidal wave, their biomechanical ships blotting out the stars. The Coalition fleets, bolstered by human-designed dreadnoughts, held the line. Explosions lit up the void as ships clashed in a chaotic ballet of destruction. On the ground, Major Brandt led the defense with the same unyielding determination as his commander. Human and alien troops fought side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of annihilation. The air was filled with the deafening roar of battle, the hiss of energy weapons, the thunder of artillery, and the inhuman screams of the Groa. As the battle raged on, James orchestrated the Coalition's movements with surgical precision. He directed fleets to exploit weaknesses in the Groa formations, turning their own swarm tactics against them. "Focus fire on their command vessels," he ordered. "Cut off their hive mind coordination." The turning point came when James deployed humanity's latest weapon, a fleet of autonomous drones equipped with experimental EMP charges. The drones infiltrated the Groa lines, unleashing bursts of electromagnetic energy that disrupted their systems. For the first time, the Groa faltered. Seizing the opportunity, The coalition launched a counter-offensive. Human and alien ships surged forward, their combined firepower shattering the Groa lines. On the ground, Brandt's forces pushed the enemy back, their unity and determination proving stronger than the swarm's relentless advance. After hours of brutal combat, the Groa retreated. The coalition had held Saraz Prime. As the smoke cleared, the surviving soldiers and officers gathered on the command deck of the Resolute. James stood before them, his face grim but resolute. "This is just the beginning," he said. "The Groa will come again, and we'll be ready. We've shown them that humanity won't be underestimated. And now they know what it means to face us."